He's so pretty with such nice long legs. A handsome horse you're on, not you. Not you or me. In our next life, I'm always like, in my next life, I'm gonna be tall and blonde and my thighs won't touch.
Let me know how you get that.
And don't be afraid just to say, when I do this, you do that, good boy. You know, sometimes you just have to explain with a little bit of a halt and then you lower the neck, good. And then there's the squirrel. So he seems to be a little bit one too that, you know, he's better today because he was here on Friday. So, you know, he just may need a lot of road trips, kind of go out and see the world. I'm sure at the show, it's upscope, you know. It's like whatever they tend to do that's a problem, it's magnified at the show for us. Some of the, remember too though, some of when they go out through the right shoulder, they're also leaning into your left leg.
Exactly.
So that's the tricky part. You can't just stop the right shoulder to fix it. You have to almost think like, almost like a turn on the forehand half hop. Yep. So that you stop the right shoulder and then push the rib cage over there to the right. Mm-hmm. See anything like that. Good, good, good. See, when he gives a little bit there, I don't know if you can give a little bit more with both reins, and will he look for the contact or does he just drop it? Right. So you kind of think of your reins like those little bean pole things that when he gives, you take those sticks and try to push the nose a little bit down and out. So it's kind of say, will you go look for it? Sometimes they don't look for it, you know, when you give and nothing changes. I don't mind so much, well now his gets up again, but that the first half, there the neck actually started to move a little bit more too. And if he would do that, then there it is, isn't such a big deal. But when it's high and not moving, that's, I think, when he gets very difficult to ride. But see, you're following, you feel that? And he is going a little bit more towards your hand. So if you can try that same reaction a little bit when you trot, when you feel him give, if you for a moment push both hands forward, just see what he does. Like I said, he may just do nothing and stay there, or he may come up again. But it's worth trying, because you at least have a good reaction of the walk, and it should carry over a little bit into the trot. Get there. See, that was a good moment to try to do. Let him go faster. Good. There, give again. And try to keep the speed with your posting. So sometimes there when you give and he stretches, he wants to get faster. And then of course he's like, oh, I lost my balance, I have to put my neck up again. Good, there. So you really have the most success in the corners. So I think you need to think more curvy lines, because the longer you say straight, the more the neck comes up. But when you get into the corners and you bend him a little more, your half halt is a lot more effective. So whether you do, think of like that first level test, that ice cream cone thing where you do the half 10-meter circle back to the track, kind of thinking of, okay, if I did a half 10-meter circle, there's a curvy line, I'm getting a little rounder, then I have a little bit of a straight line back to the track. Now I could do another 10-meter circle in the corner, or I could do another half circle back to the track. So try to connect your straight lines with more half circles, okay? And don't stay straight for so long. Because then you get at the end and he's too hard, so you want to be a little smarter and not go straight for so long that it gets so hollow on you. The horse show, you're stuck. Right. You have to do what the test says, but in training you can be smarter and use what works better. He doesn't go on a half circle, do a full circle. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's it. Yeah, see, then he's really beautiful. Yeah. And then you say, yay, good for me, hooray. Now can I do a little bit of a straight line? And then before he starts getting hollow, then you do a curvy line again. Yeah. So So you just keep building on those good stretchy steps. You know, you get a little stubborn about, I'm going down a straight line. I'm like, why? Make your life easier. Yeah, we have to work smarter, not harder, Will. That's it. There you go. This is quite good now. Keep thinking about your little beanpole sticks to keep trying to push that nose a little down now. Good. Yeah. There you go. Good. Also, by doing the little curving lines, you keep a better tempo, you know. He doesn't speed up so much. Because that's the other thing, as soon as he speeds up and uses his neck to balance. Good job, buddy. You're a smart boy. I like you today. Yes, right. You're steeper. This is really the way I am most of the time. I go with pencil. Yeah, good. Yeah, but he gets a little off that left leg. A little stretchy. Yeah. You're losing him a little bit. So you have to be careful, Will, when you're worried about the right shoulder. Sometimes the left hind goes too much left. Okay? So don't fix one thing and let something else go wrong. Good, beautiful. I'll let him have a little walk. I love this.
Boom.
I love it. Yeah. Good job. Now, the canter, I don't know, we'll have to see if we can have a plan for the canter. But for me, I think if you're smarter to do this kind of work, because then he gets better, instead of there he's good, there he's bad, there he's good, there he's bad, you know. And then you're just like working over and over and over to get the same reaction, where this builds on that good reaction. So in the canter, I don't know, what do you think? Transitions? Mm-hmm. Okay. You can always do those little like half circles toward the track too, and have the rail kind of help sitting back. Makes sense.
Yep, and I've done it with 10-meter circles from rail to center line as well.
The thing is, I don't think you can get the neck stretched until you get him balanced right. Well, the trot's now balanced enough that you can start thinking about changing the frame a little bit. In the canter, I'm not so sure. careful, don't bend too much. It's the same a little bit principle we talked about with the voltes with the gray horse. What if you do a little bit of counterflex leg yield off your outside leg, then turn? Might be worth a thought. I think he's struggling a little bit with the turning aid. So if you think a little leg yield off the right leg first, and be a little straighter in his body, and then turn. He's like, oh, holy cow. He had to move his shoulders. He didn't know what to do about that, really. He said, I got my legs kind of mixed up. Good job. There we go. Better there. Better there. You know, think of why it's easier to counter bend than to do a counter pirouette. And it's harder to maintain the inside bend. Same thing, you know, he's got to be able to turn a little bit and use a little more control of that outside shoulder. Once you get that, then a teeny bit bending back to the left, but don't overdo. Stretching better now here at the top, okay? Much more civilized this way.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Yep. Get a little more support with your outside leg behind the girth this way. The first half of the circle is really good. The second half, he starts to push the haunches out, and then that's why you lose the canter at the end. So there, you might even think, try a half circle a little bit, then like half circle onto center line, go straight, and then a half circle back to the rail. Because the half circle, he's really collecting, and then it's the second half that makes him lose his balance. So maybe if you just did half circles, it would create a better balance and he wouldn't lose the haunches. So maybe try that sort of between like quarter line, the rail and center line, just doing half turns. And then a little straight line. Now a little straight. And then another little half. Keep the collection good. Good. And another half. And try to keep the collection. This is where he's going to want to slow down and trot. So you have to be careful you don't yahoo him out of it, okay? Keep the collection, keep it. Oh, shoot. This is the fine line between you have to keep cantering, but you know, he is getting a little bit more collection. But then I know it's these guys, then it's hard to say, but you gotta keep hammering. And then sometimes you have to push them a little bit too much for them. But I like the half circle idea better than the whole circle.
I do too. And it's just like, you never thunk of a straight line in your circle.
Let's try that the other lead and have the same idea. Again, might not be such a struggle to finish doing each other. So trot was really, really good. So again, half circles, not so many straight lines. You know, once you have a little more control, you can make the straight lines last a little bit longer. But you're just working too hard. You must work smarter. We learned that in our home.
Yes.
When we were 20. We didn't know enough. So I think you can also do a little bit at trot on like a 20-meter circle, sort of in the middle of the arena. A little outside bend, leg yield in, inside bend, leg yield out. Because I think eventually that exercise will be super helpful for the canter as well. And I'd also like you to be able to be on a circle and do a little shoulder in, straighten, haunches in, straighten, shoulder, you know, moving the pieces around, because again, that will help the collection a bit. And the nice thing about the circle is it kind of doesn't run out, you know? So you're just thinking about changing those pieces. First the haunches stay on the rail, then you bring the shoulders in, and then the front end stays on the circle, and you push the haunches over. Makes sense? This little airport is getting busy, busy. not keep depending on his neck. So it's, you know, like taking 300 years of breeding and saying, it doesn't matter anymore because now you have to trust in me. Good. There, really good. And then just hoping eventually it carries over into the canter. This is quite good now. See, if you could do this at the horse show, the judges would love it. So that's, you know, you just have to get him to the point where this is, I don't know, I kind of live by the 90% rule. You know, if 90% of the time he does this at home, when you lose 10%, you're still good to go to the horse show. You know, when you're still like 60-40 at home, then you lose it 10%. It's like taking your money to Vegas. Now, when you do your shoulder in to the left, this is where you really have to move the shoulders in and push the ribs out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here, don't worry about that right shoulder so much because this is more of a suppling thing where the shoulders have to come to the right or to the left and you have to push the rib cage out. So if you're guarding that right shoulder too much, you're not going to get enough suppleness out of the exercise. All right? Yeah, so you have to, it's going to slow him down. Turn him in more. Turn him in more. Turn him in more. Turn him in a little more. Push him out. Turn him in a little more. And push him out. Turn him in more. And push him out. Turn him in. Both reins turn to the left. Both reins turn. Like you're going to do a small circle, then push. Good, like that. Now you feel the right shoulder has to go up. And it's hard. And then you do it for half a circle and then go back to haunches in. But if you do it with that much angle, you're going to get the left time engaged and the right shoulder up. But if you're so cautious and careful, it's not going to work. Good boy. And then eventually I want you to be able to do that at canter. It's going to be a little while. You know, once it's a trot, then you can do a little bit of canter. But the more you can separate the pieces in canter, the more control you're going to have.
Janet, do you do any virtual lessons?
Hmm?
Do you do any virtual lessons?
I do on, we found the best that works is the FaceTime. We've tried all the other stuff. WhatsApp is too jerky. I can't deal with it. But as long as there's someone there with the phone to do the FaceTime, it works great.
Awesome.
And I do that. I don't do new students that way because I want to know the horse and the student a little bit, you know.
Right.
But I have a gal in Pittsburgh that we do 2 a week. And if I could just teach her to count the changes, well, I would be a happy person. She's made so much progress since this summer when I went out there and was there for 3 days. And, but I just, You know what else you could do? Go the other way. And kind of go on the second track and do shoulder out to the left. So you still need to do the shoulder in work. But since he likes to fall through the right shoulder a little bit, kind of do the reverse, so bending toward the wall. You take the shoulders toward the wall and now pushing with your left leg. So I want you to do your shoulder in left like that. Does that make sense? Well, we're doing shoulder in to the left, but it becomes shoulder out. So the shoulders go toward the wall. You bend left, the other left, there. And now pushing with your left leg to the right rein. So it's like the haunches are on the second track and the shoulders are on the rail. But it's the same with the shoulder in, but you're doing it backwards. Make sense? So when you do it this way, they don't fall with that shoulder to the outside. And so you end up getting the connection you need and the balance you need without fighting that right shoulder all the time. Then when you go back to the left, you can do a little bit of shoulder into your renvers, shoulder into your renvers. So trot for a minute, and let's do shoulder out at trot this way. So you feel like your left leg is pushing that right shoulder up and down the track. Good. See, and that's perfect. But horses, they don't have a lot of crossover cells, I don't think, because they don't figure out what you're doing here. So for him, he's like, oh, this isn't really shoulder and left. And see, this way he's fine. But it's an easier way to get him stronger and get him more on the aids than always going to the inside and then always wanting to bend him to the outside. Does that make sense? Because see, look at the difference there of his outside front leg compared to what you did when it was shoulder out. Doing the shoulder in, you just don't have the freedom that you have doing it backwards. Oh, there you go. That's better. That's better. But that's the feeling you want to try to get, okay? That you're literally pushing that outside shoulder really up and creating more freedom there. And it's just simple. You just reverse and go the other way, and they don't get so blocked in their brain and fight you. So I think you just need to think a little more outside the box, you know? And don't be afraid to experiment with him and say, okay, this is kind of weird, but maybe I should try it. And sometimes you find out, like, wow, that was really cool. And then I also would do the little to the rail, bend into the rail, leg yield off, half pass back. So again, you're introducing a little bit of half pass, but in a little bit easier way. heels are good. Now here, stay on the rail. And then bending to the left. Pushing off the left leg and then you half pass back. So bend left. Pushing over and half pass back. Mhm. Good. Mhm. Bend left. A lot. More. And half pass back. There, like that. Mhm. You just keep the bend. Good boy. That's it. Good. And it's just a very simple way of doing the half pass. And then the leg yields themselves are pretty good. So then you start to start with the leg yield, change it to half pass, change it to leg yield, you know, so that the easier exercise gets it started, and then you bend, and before he struggles, back to the easier exercise. But this way, the rail attracts him, and it's very easy to just let him go back there and keep the bend. So then the half passes, they get the idea, and they start to go, oh, that's really pretty easy. Keep going. So do that once or twice the other way. So on the left rein, but doing half pass to the right. Good. Ah, good boy. And I really think he needs to do, you know, the harder stuff at home. So that when he goes to the show and you're showing first level or whatever, he's like, oh, this is so easy now. I do. But there where he got really slow at the end.
Yep. Yeah.
There I would have turned it a little quicker back in the leg yield. Okay. So you just kind of keep it playful. Now bend. And now leg yield. Good. Yeah, just like that. And just change a couple times. So it just becomes like easy peasy, no problem. Now leg yield, and half pass. There we go, good. Yeah, makes sense. Because once you lose the forward, it doesn't make any sense to stay in half pass. You know, then it's just like, you know, make it easy, get your impulsion back, and then if you still have room, you can bend it. Okay, good job. Good job. Curvy, 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 curvy. With little short and straight lines for a bit. And you need to go on road trips, so you just get bored with this whole thing. Yes, because